Host of the Heater Dynasty podcast, and I want to say thank you for downloading this Draftkings lineup builder tool that I've created. It's something that I've been working on for a couple years and something I'm pretty proud of, so I hope you enjoy it. I hope it works well for you. But yeah, as we go through this tutorial, it's going to walk you through everything you need to know to be able to best utilize this tool. So as we come to this first page here, instructions, you're going to notice you're already doing step one. You're watching the tutorial. Great job. Step number 2 is going to be to go to the projections tab and start creating your own player pool. So the only caveat with this tool is that in order to really use it past just this week 1 in the NFL calendar, you're going to need to subscribe to my Patreon. So my Patreon is $5 a month, and that basically means that each of these main slates is going to cost you $1.25. That's it. So you get access to it for a month at a time. You're going to have to download the new template every single week in order to get this player slate information. So that's the only catch. But let me walk you through how it works. And then there'll also be information for the Patreon and everything else in the links below in this YouTube video. Okay? But let's walk through this slate first. So, as you can tell, if you're anything like me, a lot of times when I see a slate like this right off the bat, it can be very overwhelming. So I've created some different tools to help us digest the information and to narrow down the player pool so that you're not looking at, in this case, 714 different things and trying to make decisions based off of that. That just, when you're hand building lineups, that's way too much information. So the first thing you're going to notice is that the entire player pool is here. The positions are listed. You have the team information, the opponent that they're playing, their salary, and then 2 different projections. So the first one is my projection based on my calculations and data that you can find on my website. And then the average projection. So average projection is basically expert consensus projections from different people throughout the industry. So this is what we're actually going to be using for this tool, because I didn't want to use just my biased information. This tool includes both my information as well as a lot of people who know way more than I do. So we're going to use this tool, but I figured I'd put this here as well. Then you have your values listed here. If you've used values before, you know what this is, but if not, that's okay. Value basically is you're taking the projection divided by the salary over 1,000 to determine how much value are you getting by picking this player. So obviously you have a narrow amount of salary that you can use, or a limited number of salary that you can use. So even though CeeDee Lamb is the highest salary and a really good projection, you noticed Tyreek Hill's cheaper and projected higher, so he might be a better value. That's just one example. Then this last column here is the roster percentage, and this is a projection that's basically trying to tell you how many other lineups are going to be being projected to have this player as well. So that's that column. If you come over here, you'll notice I've broken down top positional values for each of the positions. So quarterbacks, I've listed the top 12 here. That's populated based on their value. Once again, running backs, top 25, wide receivers, top 25, top 12 tight ends, top 12 defenses. At the very top here, we have the top games info. I don't know if this is something that you've used before, but it's data that I like to use to determine which games I really want to focus on. So the higher the over-under that's being predicted for a game, the more likely that game is going to have a lot more fantasy production. So what I've done is I've taken all the game lines for the week and I've highlighted the top 4 for you, and those are the ones that are being highlighted here. The favorite is in green, the underdog is in yellow. And then under here, this is something that I'll update on a weekly basis as well. These are going to be who I consider to be my top plays. And you can take it or leave it, but that at least will give you a little bit of information. And then if you want more information on this, you can always go to my website, heaterdynasty.com, where I'll give breakdowns and blogs and everything of why I consider these players to be the top plays. But all this information is going to then help us populate our own player pool. So when you come over here, you're going to notice that I have these columns over here as well. This is where any players that you pick are going to start populating. How, you ask? Okay, so let's go back to that page. If you go back to the instructions, the next step would be to check box for players you want to target in your lineups. You come to this page, you see all these check boxes here. So basically, you're going to be able to narrow this pool down so you don't have to look at all 700 names. You can pare it down much smaller than that. It's going to automatically populate these names for you because these are my top plays, so that you don't have to go through and copy them if you want, but it'll automatically be over there. But then on top of that, you can add your own. So just to show some examples, let's pick CeeDee Lamb, we'll pick Tyreek and Justin. Those are all great choices. We notice that Miami versus Jacksonville's a good one, so I'm going to make sure I grab Travis Etienne. And I'm just using this as an example, so don't think too critically of what I'm doing right now. I'm just trying to show you how it will populate. I'm not really thinking through which teams are which. I'm just kind of clicking some here. So David Njoku, just to show you how it works, let's pick someone random down here. So Cole Kmet will make the list. Let's see, this guy. Just so that you can see. Sam Ehlinger. I would not pick him. He's not projected for any points. But when we come over here, you'll see Sam Ehlinger makes the list. Okay? So yeah, those names will all populate over here as you do that. And one other little cool feature of this is when you come back here, let's say you decided like, I chose too many. You can either go back through and click them all off, or you can use this reset player pool. This is a little macro that I built in. The only caveat is you're going to need to give it permission to work within your system. So when you click it, it's going to try to run the script the very first time. It takes a minute. Oh, authorization required. Okay, cool. I'm going to go in here. You're going to be able to click your thing. You're going to see this warning. So it's up to you. You don't have to use the macro if you don't want to, but this is just telling you Google hasn't verified this app. Google hasn't verified Solver, so it gives you this safety message. If you don't care, if you want to override it, I mean, I use it. I think it's safe. I understand if this was like a red flag for you, just avoid it. You don't have to use this button. But if you say that's silly, doesn't matter, go through, you allow it. Now when you click this, it saves you the time and it automatically refreshes the page. So now when you go back, you'll see all those names we added are no longer there. So that's just a quick little shortcut I added in just because I thought it was fun. You can use it, you can leave it, you don't have to, it doesn't really make a difference. It's up to you. But for the sake of this, let's throw a couple more names in there just so that we have some data. Boom, boom, boom. Great. Let's say you've chosen everybody you want. You now come in here, you see these names listed on the side. It's time to start building some lineups. I've got cash lineups and I've got GPP lineups for you. GPP lineups, or grand prize pool, basically these are tournament lineups. So in this one is where the roster percentage comes into play. You're going to want to be thinking about that. Whereas a cash lineup is more something that you are looking to just create the best lineup possible and not really worrying about having duplicate lineups with other people in the playing field. If you want more information on that, check out my website. I'm going to have blog posts and some podcasts about that directly, but I just wanted to break that down if you are a brand new player to DFS and aren't sure what I was talking about. But the way I've set this up, green boxes are good. Blue boxes or white boxes or gray boxes, don't touch them. Those already have formulas going on in the background. You don't want to mess with them. But the green boxes is where you're going to be able to enter data. So let's build a fake lineup real quick and see how the rest of this tool works. So let's start with Josh Allen. I type his name in. Just make sure you type it in exactly how it is over on the side so that it populates. And you'll see it already populates all that information from below. And it starts tallying on the bottom here all the information that you as you build the lineup. So I'm literally just throwing some names in here. Let's look at our list here. Devon Achin. Then let's add some wide receivers. Tyreek Hill. Nico Collins. Noah Brown. Trey McBride. And as you get closer, it's going to automatically put in some filters for you if you go above what's listed there. So let's see here. We'll do Colts. I specifically did this on purpose just to kind of show you if you go over what happens. So let's say I put in Tank Dell. It's going to make it a red signal here because 50,000 is your bank limit, your salary limit. So right now it's telling you like, oh, this isn't right. That's not going to work. That's a weird glitch. Fix that real quick. Oh, and that's because, okay, sounds good. So then 54,200, perfect. So we got to fix something. So let's take out one of these big names. We'll take out him, and we'll add in Roma Dunze instead. And then we should be under, up, or still over. All right. We'll go with Kyle Pitts. Now you see we're under the budget, so it's the right color. It tells you what your projection is going to be based on the predictions, and then the roster percentage. Mind you, these roster percentages aren't real right now. I just put these in so that we'd have a sense. It'd be a lot higher than this normally. But as you can, and the Colts, I didn't even put them in for the defenses for this tutorial, so that's why that's blank. But normally they'd all have things in here like roster percentage for Devon Achin at 0%. Yeah, that's not going to happen. He's going to probably be pretty popular come this upcoming Sunday. This is just to give you an example. But let me build a GPP one real quick to show you one other little thing that I built in just to show you the difference, because with the GPP lineups, you're going to want to really worry about the roster percentage, whereas cash lineup, you really don't need to. So I'm going to make this one really weird just to make a point, okay? So Josh Allen, you'll see the roster percentage turned yellow. This is because, based on my research, you really want your roster percentage for a tournament. In order for it to be successful, you need it to be within a certain threshold. It needs to be between 100 and 125% of the roster percentage when you add them all together. This number, I've noticed, is what has been the most successful and most likely to give you an opportunity to win a GPP. So that's why I've highlighted it here. You'll see it's in yellow right now because it's only listed at 10.39%. So I'm purposely building it in so that when you hit that sweet spot, it turns green. If you go above that threshold, it's going to turn red. So let's just put in some different data here just to get a sense of that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go back here and figure out who had the highest roster percentage on my fake roster percentage. Let's see here. Cam Akers and Justin Jefferson and Jamar Chase. Okay. So, once again, don't make this exact lineup because this is ridiculous. But I'm just putting it in there so that we have some higher roster percentages, since the data is not actually been populated yet for the week. And just to make it easier on ourselves, I'm going to put them in twice. You see, I'm over the salary. Don't worry about that right now because I just want to show you this other information here. There we go. You see how it turned green? It's in the right threshold, but then let's put Cam Akers down here. Now it turns red again because you're above that threshold. So anything from 100 to 125 is what I was trying to show you. But yeah, so this is that's pretty much the extent of the tool. If you have any questions, by all means, reach out to me. Post a comment here, or you can post it on my website. Either one's fine. But yeah, I'm looking forward to utilizing this tool myself this upcoming season, and hope it's beneficial to you. If you run into any issues, please let me know. But otherwise, I hope you enjoy. Thanks.